78 Sports TV here with the one and only Mr. Kenny Porter. How you doing today, brother?
I'm good. How are you?
Excellent. Okay, Shawn had an excellent performance versus Keith one-time Thurman. You guys didn't get the nod. What was your overall take of the fight, and how do you feel Shawn performed?
Well, I thought that it was a great fight. Great fight for the fans. The Barclays Center was rocking. We walked in there and, everybody was cheering for Keith. And when they announced Shawn, when Shawn first came out, when they announced him, he came out to boo. They actually booed us when we came out.
Right.
But when the decision was read, they were actually booing Keith. So, boxing is subjective, it's opinionated. It's not like you kick a field goal and watch it go through the uprights and you get the points, or you shoot a free throw or dunk a basketball and see what the score is. So we just have to deal with what the score was. But in the public, in the public eye at the Barclays Center, they were very happy with our performance.
I think the whole world was happy with that performance, man. That was a legendary fight, in my opinion. That's gonna go down in history. It was just guns blazing, both guys throwing bombs, and both guys took the punches. It was amazing. How do you feel about, like Shawn had to go to the hospital? The reports were that he was dehydrated. Is Shawn doing all right now?
No, there was nothing wrong with Shawn at all. Things got blown out of proportion. All it is you have to take a drug test before the fight. They wanted blood and they wanted urine. In New York, they want you to take the same thing after the fight. You got to give them blood and you got to give them more urine. So when Shawn wasn't able to give them the urine that they wanted, automatically you're dehydrated after a fight. Okay? That's what happens. I'm dehydrated just walking around in Las Vegas. People don't know that, but this is a desert. So when you walk around here, you don't have to work out. You get dehydrated. So the first thing they said was, well, we got to get more fluids in him in order to get the results, or in order to get the sample that we need. Well, it's already 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. By the time he gives them the sample that they need, it'll probably be 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And the boxing commission was not going to sit there and wait for Shawn Porter to keep drinking water to give them everything that they needed. So they said, okay, go to the hospital and let the hospital do the test. So it's no longer our responsibility, which I understand that part of it,
Right.
If you're a boxing commission, you're not going to sit there with a guy 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. You're not going to do it. So it was just one of those situations where he had to give them more urine, and they didn't want to sit around and wait for it. So they sent us to the hospital, and that's where the test was taken at. So he drank and got fluids back in him, and, he gave him their sample. That ends it. But, Shawn Porter had to go to the hospital for dehydration. Well, guess what? Just on a daily basis, if you take a piss and it's yellow, you're dehydrated.
Right. Absolutely. Also, at some point in the fight, I believe it was round 9, I could be mistaken, Shawn hurt Keith with a body shot and sent Keith backing up. Did you guys strategically plan to attack Keith's body? Did you know he was soft to the body, or was that something that just came along with what Shawn Porter naturally does?
No, we wanted to do both, and we did both. The CompuBox stats, the kickboxing statistician, showed that Shawn landed 58 jabs to Keith's 23 jabs. That means whether or not they want to give Shawn credit for it, he has now out-jabbed Keith Thurman, Adrian Bronner, Paulie Malignaggi, and Devin Alexander. That's 4 guys that he out-jabbed. And we know that he beat Keith on the inside in that fight. But apparently he didn't get credit for the inside fighting. And apparently he didn't get credit for the jabs on the outside, because that's double the amount of jabs, 23 to 58.
Right, right.
So, we wanted to do both. He did both. It was a great fight. It was a hard fight. Both guys made each other great. And, it's debatable who won the fight. A lot of people are debating about it, and they're going to continue to debate about it. The only way to settle that is to have part two, a rematch.
Okay. Do you want a rematch right away with Keith? Because I know Keith has a mandatory for the WBA to satisfy. If you can't get the Keith Thurman rematch right away, who are you guys looking at? Would you like to step in there with other top tier guys like a Danny Garcia and those type of guys in the top 10, or are you guys going to look for a soft touch?
No, we'd love to have the rematch within, a reasonable amount of time. Initially, the discussion was that the rematch would happen within 180 days. That'd be fine for us. If not, I don't want to sit around and wait. It took us long enough to get this fight. I don't want to sit around and wait. My kid doesn't want to sit around and wait. If they're not showing us any, any incentive that they're going to do it in a reasonable amount of time, then we move forward. Shawn wants to be back in the ring in 90 days. For anybody and everybody that knows us, when you fight Keith Thurman, Kell Brook, and Adrian Bronner, and those type of guys, there's no reason to take a step back. We don't have to take a step back. We didn't take steps back, so we move forward. If he's not ready to fight us and doesn't want to fight us, then we move forward and fight someone else.
Brother Kenny, what do you think this fight does for Shawn Porter's stock? I'm of the belief that this fight actually raises Shawn's stock. Even though he didn't get the decision, it raises his stock because of the performance he had. And prior to that, beating Adrian Bronner, Shawn Porter, in my opinion, it was a phenomenal performance by both guys. How do you feel this performance affects his status right now in rankings at welterweight and getting better fights in the future?
I agree with you. It was a phenomenal performance on both of their parts. Shawn pushed Keith. Keith came up in his levels. Shawn raised it up another level. Keith raised it up another level. These guys, they really, really gave everything that they had in that ring. And so it was a great fight. And this is not just my opinion, but the opinion of the fans at the Barclays Center. Those were not our fans. Those were Keith Thurman's fans. When they called Shawn Porter's name, they booed Shawn when he came to the ring, because those were Keith Thurman's fans. But when the decision was read, you heard it. The decision was read. They booed the decision. When Keith spoke, they booed Keith. When Shawn spoke, they cheered Shawn. So I have no recourse but to believe that his stock has risen to another level, a higher level. Even in that fight that he did not get the decision in, it has gone to another level. Now, to take it even steps further, visits were paid to us in his locker room after the fight by the president of Showtime Sports Network, who said, as soon as you're ready to go, just call me. Here go my personal number. Call me, and I will put you on. You have a home here at Showtime.
Right.
Step further from that, Lou DiBella, the promoter of the fight show, comes in the back and said, there are no losers tonight. Shawn Porter, you are a winner. Please, please, please come back to the Barclays Center.
Right.
He would love to have Shawn come back to the Barclays Center. Take it a step further, everybody at PBC from the top, and those are the people that we, really value their opinion. The people at the top have called us every day saying, hey, just checking up on you, see how you guys are doing, enjoy your vacation. When you're ready to come back, we got some big things for you. So, we have not just the incentive of the fans that cheer for Shawn, but also the people who are in charge, who are running, the Showtime television network, ran that promotion, Lou DiBella Entertainment, which those guys were fantastic to us while we were there, and also PBC, Premier Boxing Champions. They have all told us that, fight could have gone in either way, but please come back and run it again. They want to see that rematch.
I think everybody does, man. I would love to see that. I think this is a trilogy. This fight got trilogy written all over it. Whether it happens right away or it happens in the future, I think that this is always going to be a very good competitive fight with these two guys being so familiar with each other. And I just want to congratulate you once again, Brother Kenny, as a trainer and a father. This was Shawn came out there and gave it everything he had, and everybody was proud of him. And he clearly won over the crowd. Okay, like you said, the crowd came in booing him and left cheering for him. So he obviously did something right. What do you? This is my last question for you, Brother Kenny. What do you say to the naysayers? Because there are still a lot of people. I get these comments all the time. There are still a lot of people out there who say Shawn Porter is not skilled. He smothers his own work. He gets in too close and blah 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 blah. I know you've heard it before. What's your thoughts on that?
It doesn't bother me at all. First of all, what you need to know is this. Again, he outjabbed Thurman, he outjabbed Paulie Malignaggi, he outjabbed Devin Alexander, he outjabbed Adrian Bronner. That's not my stat. That is CompuBox stats. The computer stats said that he landed more jabs. So obviously, the kid had a beautiful jab. He was catching teeth with a jab, and it was beautiful to see that. Okay? The next part of that was and is, when you're listening to commentators, when you are watching television and you're being influenced by the things you're hearing them say, when you are on the internet, and people now live their lives on Facebook and Instagram and all of these boxing websites. That's where they live their life. It makes everyone feel like the things that they read and the things that they hear are the truth. But it's not. It's not the truth. That's not the real world, guys. The real world said Shawn outjabbed all those guys. The real world said when Shawn was working to the body on the inside, those punches aren't getting smothered. Those punches are landing. They're not getting smothered. They're landing. If the kid is 6'1", then he's standing 6'1", and he's throwing punches from the outside. And I can understand you would now say, oh, well, that's the way a guy 6'1" is supposed to punch. Well, would you expect Shawn to stand back away from a person and throw a body punch? Would you really expect that?
Right.
How could you do that? It's not possible. Okay, it's not possible. You hear a guy like Paulie Malignaggi, Shawn Porter smothers his punches. Well, it worked against you. Okay? It worked against Keith. Okay? It worked against a lot of other guys that he's fought to this point. Okay? So we didn't get the decision. It's a close fight. They say it could go either way. Run the rematch. Shawn's never going to stand 2 feet, 3 feet away from you and try to throw a body punch. It ain't going to happen. Physically, we talking physics here, okay? Physically, that's pretty much impossible, guys, for him to do that. So anybody that's watching that or critiquing that, it's pretty much impossible for him to stand 2 feet away from you and throw body punches. It's impossible.
Right. All right, Brother Kenny, I want to thank you so much for your time. I'm going to let you get back to your day, brother. You got any last words out there for Shawn Porter fans?
we appreciate, we never heard nobody boo us before. He's got 27, 28 professional fights. He's never been booed before. We came into the Barclays Center. We never expected that we would get booed. They announced Shawn's name to start the fight, and they were booing him. And I'm standing there with him, with my head next to his head, and I'm saying, okay, man, just take all this in. Take it all in. Take all this in and use it as energy, And then when the fight is over with, they're booing Keith and they're cheering Shawn. So that's the court of public opinion, the public opinion. And, we look forward to going back to Brooklyn to fight again. We look forward to, being in that Barclays Center again with those fans. So we really appreciate that. And, Shawn is fine. He's great. He's excellent. I'm very proud of his performance. Like I said, both fighters gave everything they had. Both fighters showed that they're great fighters. And that's what we need in boxing today. Now, you need a round robin with Danny Garcia, and you need a round robin with Keith Thurman, and all these top-level guys need to fight each other. So I'm glad that we had that experience, and you can't take that back. But it was a great experience for us. So thank you, guys.